Hello and welcome back to another amazing episode of the Speak Life podcast. We are so excited to have you with us for another wonderful week. I am your host, Minister Phoenix, alongside this beautiful and amazing woman that I get to call my wife and my co-host.
Hey, welcome again to the Speak Life podcast. This is your girl, the one and only Sheikah.
There's only one.
We're so happy you're here with us today.
We are excited to have you with us. And if this is your first time tuning into the podcast, you know what you need to do. You need to go and slam on that like and that subscribe button. Get it all up in there. Keep pressing that. You know, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment to be a part of the conversations. This is how we interact with y'all. Reach out to us, let us know what you're thinking when we have these episodes. And if you are part of our faithful listener base who tunes in week after week, I say it every week and I'm going to keep saying it every week. I love y'all. And I mean that. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all for rocking with us week after week. We in our second season. And we going to keep going. As long as God gives us insight, we going to keep going. So with that being said, this week, I wanted to go back to something that we just brushed on earlier on when we were talking about this. I believe the episode was envy, jealousy, and there was another one in there. It was envy, jealousy, and something else, whatever. But in that episode...
It's like so much.
I can't remember. I know what episode I'm talking about. If y'all scroll back on the episode list, y'all will see the one that I'm talking about too. But when we was talking about the episode, there was a piece in there that I wanted to touch upon with this episode. And that one is this thing of imagine competition. And imagine competition. Because I think it is an important topic that we dive into, because a lot of you might be having this and not even realize it. You may have people who are imagining that they're in competition with you.
And you're like, wait, what?
You're like, some of y'all are sitting there like, what? Imagine competition? What is that? I ain't never heard of that before. Well, if you haven't heard about it, you're about to hear about it today. Now, to start off the conversation, I want to get us with a working definition of exactly what imagine competition is. So it is exactly how it sounds. Imagine competition. Someone, could be a friend, could be someone who's not your friend, could be someone who just knows you, could be an associate, could be a co-worker, could be pretty much anyone. Could be someone who's in ministry the same way that you're in ministry. It could literally be anybody who you are associated with will have this belief that for some reason, unbeknownst to you,
you guys are competing.
That you're in competition with one another. It could be in competition in your careers. It could be in competition in, your success. It could be, it is a very interesting phenomenon that I've seen. This imagined competition. So, to start off, to really dive into this conversation, I just want your opinion on this.
Okay.
Is there a way? Are there ways that we can spot when someone may be suffering from this imagined competition that they may be having?
This is a tricky topic because sometimes you don't even realize or think of it. But I think that sometimes, it could just come up in conversation. You could be having a conversation and it's people just trying to fish or something like that, trying to figure out wait, what's going on and
what you doing?
Because and I'm not saying that all the time that's what it is. Sometimes people are just curious, and sometimes, especially if you have a close friend, it's you talk about aspiration and dreams and stuff like that together. So there's a difference. But sometimes you may have people who you just know it's just something that's evident where you could feel it. You just know it. Why are we here? Why? What does it matter to you? What am I gonna do 10 years from now, or something like that? Or why are you so bent on knowing every aspect of my life? And then there's one thing about being curious, but there's another thing where it's just like, oh wait, I want to do what you're doing. Like, no, or you're successful in this area, then I want to do that so I could be successful too. I don't know. So that's just how I look at it.
I think the extra nosiness is usually like the red flag. When you just want to know too much, that for me is just like, bro, what's really going on? But one of the surefire ways, this one is the giveaway for me. At one time or another, there will always be the Freudian slip where they say something that they don't, it just kind of comes out, and they don't realize that it comes out the way that it came out. And then it's just like, oh, well, is that what you have on your mind? Or is that what you were thinking? And I think that for me is always one of the big giveaways, where even if it's like something where they should be like happy for you or they should be celebrating you, it's like they'll have that moment where it's like they try to kind of diminish your accomplishment, and it's like, did I miss something? Like did I miss something?
Yeah. And I mean, like, I see that, like, even with, like, say you're at work and it's like you're doing your job, but you're just really good at your job, and it's like,
oh, people don't be liking that.
Yeah, it's like, it's as if like you're, I don't know, like they try to throw you under the bus, try to make you look bad, and you're like, wait, where are you're in your classroom? I'm in my classroom.
The
like,
workplace
why are you
is a really good place where you can find it.
Yeah, like why? So it becomes like, you're a good teacher, I'm a good teacher. Like, why is it that you feel the need that we gotta compete?
And it's like, especially in the teaching field.
Yeah.
Like, when, red flag right here. When you're a good teacher and you doing your job and minding your business, and people still want to cause you issues,
yeah, you're like,
they might be suffering from an imaginary competition complex.
Yeah, like why? And it could be in corporate, like it could be anywhere.
Oh, you definitely see that in the corporate world.
Yeah.
It's like people just throwing one another under the bus because they trying to get ahead. They're like, oh, no, I gotta get promoted before you get promoted. I can't have you getting promoted faster than me. And one of the things, and this really links into the next question or the next piece that I really wanted to talk about when it comes to, imaginary competition. Like, if someone has an imagined competition with you, listen, you have to understand this. Mm-hmm. Whether you like it or not, at that point, y'all are in competition. At that point, y'all are in competition. You may not necessarily be in competition with them, but listen closely. In their minds,
there's something going on.
Y'all in competition, whether you like it or not. You're in it. You're in it. And this goes to the perception piece that we were talking about. Because at the end of the day, whether you think you're in competition with them or not, because they believe
it's happening.
Because they believe you're in competition with them, you in it.
But you know what though? This is such a tricky topic, because like you see this in family. You see this in
you can literally find this in every aspect of life.
Every aspect of life. And my thing is this, like sometimes, you'll see people with stuff and you don't know how to get it. You see people like accomplish stuff, you don't know the hard work they had to put in. But yet it's like, oh, you don't even know about their life, because they could look one way, but it doesn't mean that that's how their life is.
That could just be the highlights.
Yeah. So it's like, and that's when, and I feel like that's part of jealousy too. And then it kind of like just spill over, because it could be like, oh, you look like you have it together. You look like you're well put together, but they don't know deep down, like, what you may be suffering from, like the things that you have to do to accomplish what you accomplished. So it's like, oh, I'm competing with you. Like, oh, I I'm trying to be careful, like how I word things or I put things, because it's not every conversation you have, and it's not everything you go through where it's like, oh, it's an imagined competition or anything like that.
It's not. It is not.
So you have to be very careful how you put it and how you word. I have to be careful how I'm wording it and how I'm putting it, because I don't want someone to listen and be like, oh, so when I said this to her, she thought, so it's and that's why
I'm gonna be real, because I
question
question my friends a lot. I be like, yo, I'm trying to figure out where we go, and so I'm like, yo, what you
like, what you up to? Like, you'll ask.
Nah, I ask my friends hard questions. I'd be like, I see you doing this in your job. Where you taking that in 10 years? Like, because I want to see my friends blow. That's just it. I want to see all my people doing to the best of their ability. That's just me. So when we start talking about those 10-year plans, I'm not stacking up against you to be like, well, I want to do this in 10 years.
Yeah.
But I like to make sure that me and the people around me have like the same mindset of trying to get somewhere.
Yeah, you have to have like-minded people around you.
But sometimes you will have people who aren't really in that same vein of like-mindedness, but it's like they're stacking themselves up against where they are versus where you are. And one of the things that people have to realize is this: like, it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter where someone else is, y'all ain't running the same race.
Yeah, and honestly, and that too, with the whole imagine competition stuff, like, I feel like it's easy to spot. Like, if you're that person who is getting that treatment, or someone is in like imagine competition with you, you kind of pick up on a little bit of something.
I think it starts to spill out.
Yeah, because then people start acting a certain way towards you, and you're like, what did I do?
What I do though?
What do I do to you?
What I do though?
Like we were cool, or we were, like,
it's like I didn't realize that there was issues.
Yeah. and then you start seeing like their fear of influence start acting a certain way too, and you're like,
that right there was gold.
So
I didn't even think about that one. And we talk about the sphere of influence. It's like, you think you got a problem with just one person, but then you got competition with one person, then everyone that they can influence starts acting like they crazy.
Yeah,
and you're like, hold up.
It's very, very tricky. And I kept saying that because it's like, it's one of those conversations where you have, but it's like, you don't want it to kind of
be misconstrued as something
exactly. So but my thing is this: if any one of you guys listening, if you're in something like that, I'm pretty sure you can already tell.
You can see the red.
I'm pretty sure you
flags.
can actually pick up on it already, and you don't have to say anything. Like you don't have to go to the person who is making you feel like they're in competition with you. You don't have to go to them and be like, oh, like why, You don't have to do that, because you already know, and they already know that within themselves they kind of like feel a certain way towards you, and and they're not saying it, but by their actions they're showing it.
And I think that was something that I struggled with like last year with like everything that was going on. It was like kind of crazy, because I'm like, hey, yo, like, I'm just here trying to mind my business.
Like
do
everybody's trying to make
something.
Like, everyone is trying to do well. Everyone is trying to have a good life, leave a legacy, and we talked about, I think we talked about an episode where we say that, or we touched on it, where we said that God doesn't run out of blessings.
And that was a big thing that I really wanted to talk about, especially with this topic, is the fact that, like, there's enough space for everyone to succeed. And I think with that, it's like, even when it comes to doing things in the same field, like if you're a photographer, like I do photography. And there's a ton of photographers out there. There's probably millions of different photographers out there. However, if you're really if you're good at what you do,
gotta give there will
always be space or a market
For you to
no
get
matter
better.
how saturated it may be. It's like, think about it. It's like we got over 7 billion people in this world. That's a lot of people. If you just reach 1%,
That's a lot.
1% of those people, just 1%, that's like 7 million customers.
Yeah, that's a lot.
If my math is correct. If my math is off, don't drag me in the comments. Don't drag me in the comments, but I'm pretty sure, nope, it might be 70 million. Yes. I think it's 70 million. That'll get you up. You drop 2 zeros on there, blam, blam. Yeah. That'll get you to about 7 billion people. So that's like 70 million people that could possibly like your stuff.
And like I said, you have to surround yourself with people who you know that they're not just like-minded, but they're genuine.
So they got the same heart set.
Yeah, the same heart
Not
set
the same,
as you.
not just the same mindset, but the same heart set too.
Yes. So it's like if you and honestly, I started looking at things a little different, like where I'm for everybody. Like, you don't have to be up, because I wasn't all like, I'm still like I don't think of myself better or highly qualified or anything better than anybody. Oh no, I don't think of myself like, it doesn't matter how much I accomplish, it doesn't matter what I have, I do not think of myself higher than anyone, but like, if you're trying to get to somewhere, you have to surround yourself with like-minded people who are trying to get and accomplish the same things. Because if I'm trying to accomplish this and I'm surrounding myself with someone who is like, okay, life for me is over, I don't care, like, I'm just done, I'm okay, I'm comfortable with where I am right now, and for you, you're like, no, I'm trying to go higher, then you can't sit there with that person who has a shallow mind to say, like, I don't see my future going anywhere. You really have to surround yourself with people who are like, yes, I see my future going there. Do you see yours? Like, yes, let's get at this together. And that to me is not that imagined competition that we're talking about. It's more so like, yo, bro, sis, I see where you're going. You're my peeps. I love you. I see where you're going. And I just want to stick a little closer to you, because let some of that blessing rub off too, Like, it's not anything to say like, I'm trying to compete with you or you're trying to compete with me, So, but then I feel like, and I'm going to touch on a little thing, but I don't want it to kind of get out of hand or making it feel like I'm trying to attack anyone or anything. But like, I see things happen a lot in church where you're like, mighty God, we're all serving God. We're all trying to get to heaven.
Ministry was a whole nother topic.
We're all trying to get to heaven. We're all serving God. Let's do it happy and know that we're all in this for one cause, and do it right. But that's just a little bit of, touched on, but I'm not going to stay there. I don't want us to stay there.
I just want to touch that just a little bit. I'm only going to dip my feet in the water on that one. Ministry can be challenging because of the human aspect of it. And anything that we touch as people is always going to be flawed. There's always going to be issues with it, because there's so much issues with us. That's just a fact. So it's like when we come to ministry and we see where it's like people start being people in something that's supposed to be working towards something eternal, it's like you'll always have those issues, because it's like, yes, we could be, I'm just going to use you and me as an example. I could be, let's say, if I was a singer and you was a singer, it's like, and you could sing, like, and you could sing, like, hold the note and the whole nine. And I had a different talent in how I minister my music. It could be very easy for me to try to compare myself to you, because we're both doing the same thing. you know, and it can be easy for me to be like, you know what, I may not be able to hold a note, but I can do this better, or I can do that better, or I can do this or that, you know, because it's like we're in that same like kind of like that same lane
category.
Yeah, that same type of ministry, but at the same sense, it's because it's like we're not perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. It's like, so at some time or another, even when we're doing something that's supposed to be for God, you'll see where that imperfection will spill out into something. It'll always spill out into something, and that's really how I look at when you see that, you know, that competition spirit when it comes to ministry and when it comes to doing things as far as church is concerned. It's because we're dealing with things that are eternal, but in the same sense, this is something that's going towards the perfect, you know, never had a blemish, never had an issue God, and we're not like that. By nature, we're not like that.
That's good. Wow.
So therefore, you know, you'll see those things manifest themselves in different ways.
Because I feel like you see it in the workplace. You
Definitely see it in the workplace.
You see it. You know what? You see it everywhere. But I feel like it's like a different look when you see it in church, because it's like that's the one place you come and you're like, we all should kind of have it together and be together. But the way you just put it, it definitely, you know, it definitely opened. It was an eye opener. And it's good to see it like that and look at it like that, because it's like I come across people who talked about they talked about the church as if it's such an evil place because of the fact that, you know, what it's for, sometimes they don't feel that, they don't get that. But you and I, who have had our own experience with God and know about like the importance of us being in church, don't look at it like that and don't let that sway us, you know, when we start seeing certain things. Because again, you touched on that, we're human and we are imperfect. So we're going to see all that imperfection comes out when we do things, right? So I feel like when you see that in the workplace, as Christian, when you see that in the workplace,
it's kind of expected.
It's kind of expected. But then when you see it in the church, you're like, but why?
And this is a real side note, and I don't want to.
I know we're like straying.
I don't want to veer off too much, but this is a really good topic. This right here would be a really, really interesting topic, and we may have to do this next week. And I don't want to touch on it too much, but I will touch on this piece about church. And I feel like, and I'll just say this one piece about it. With that piece, it's like people get so turned off from church and from church people. Not because, I don't think it's because of the things that happen, but I think it's because of the facade that people try to put on. I think if church was more honest about the fact that
they're not perfect,
we're all saved by grace, I think it would be more accepted when certain things happen. I think when people start being people inside the church, I think because of how it was presented, that is what the biggest turnoff becomes. It's like, because if I portray myself as being perfect and being nice and being holy and being this and being that,
your imperfection starts showing up, it's kind of like,
they're like, but
wait,
that's gonna be a next week episode. That's a next week episode. Tune into that one. How can we make it
How did
better?
we even get here?
I don't. Yeah, we were talking. We were talking about people and the imperfections that cause that competitive spirit to be manifested in ministry, and that got us into the rabbit hole of church. But
I do listen. I cannot not go to church.
We gotta talk. I remember
church
we went
my life.
We went on vacation, and I randomly stumbled into a church.
We gotta find a church.
We was in another country. I was like going downstairs, like, oh, there's a church downstairs. I'm going to church. She was like, oh, we're in Canada. You don't even know these people. Another story, another day. Is there anything that we can do to stop people from having this imagined competition in their minds with us?
I don't think, like, you know, I don't think I don't think that there's anything that you can do, or people, you know, when I say you, I'm talking about people in general, can do to stop that, because you can't control what a person think. You can't control how another person act. So if they're gonna be in that imagined competition with you, that's not anything to do with you. Like, that's them. That's like, I don't have nothing to do with that. Like,
and I love that too, because I think as people, we always want to try to change people. We always want to change.
I'm not God. I can't change
how
you.
people feel about us. And you know, they say there's this saying that say the only person's actions you can control is your own, and I think that's a lie. I think you can't even control your actions at times. The only person that can control, you know, us and the way we think and the way we feel, because we don't even have you know control over our emotions at times, is really God.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's not really much that you can do to change someone's opinion of you. You know, I'm not even going to say the saying. Y'all know the saying. You know what opinions are like, and everyone got one. So with that, it's like all you can do is do your best to be you, and just let people be people, because people will always be people. Even when people don't want to be people, at the end of the day, a person is going to be a person, and you will see certain behaviors manifested in different ways.
Yeah. And that's like our conversation. You know, coming home, we always have like, you know, conversation on our ride home, because we're coming from two different places. But when, you know, and we talked about it, like, at this point in life, regardless of how people are, you just gotta love them. You just gotta love them.
Yeah.
You gotta love them for what they show you. You gotta love them for who they are.
Yeah,
you gotta love them
for
what you like.
You gotta love them
you
for
gotta
what
love
you
them
don't
for
like.
what you don't like.
And that's the hard part.
You just have
You just
to
gotta love people. Love
because
people
at the end
people.
of the day, God is love, and if we say that we're children of God and we are part of God, we have to love regardless. We have to love the unlovable.
And that's pretty hard.
And you know, and when you look at it like that, and it will make things a lot better. It will make it easier for you to get along with people.
It changes the perspective.
Exactly. It changes everything to say, you know what? I just gotta love them. And that's it. You gotta love.
Because if you try to get to heaven,
because honestly, it will drive you up the wall. It will drive you up the wall, because if you keep seeing people acting a certain way and the same thing over and over and over again, you're gonna drive yourself crazy. It's easier just to love them and just leave all the other stuff that, you know.
In the words of Carol McCarthy, everyone's working on something.
Everyone's working. I'm working on something too.
Everyone's working on something.
We're all working on something.
You can't be on them for what they're working on when we got stuff that we working on.
So even if you find someone who is in, you know, they're in some kind of imagined competition with you, honey, they're in it by themselves. You gotta love them.
Yes. The only issue is they don't realize that they're in it by themselves,
and they don't realize that, you know.
Oh gosh,
they don't understand, or they don't know that you actually know.
We as people are some funny individuals. I tell you.
But you gotta love. You gotta love.
We are funny. Give us some wrap up advice. Some people dealing with some issues with some people who are losing it.
Listen, I've come to realize that, and that was a huge eye opener for me, to say, you know what? People will be people, and you just have to love them. Family, friends, loved ones, associates, co-workers, colleagues,
bosses.
Bosses. You have to just love, because they're not going to do everything. Excuse me. They're not going to do everything that you like.
Nope.
They're not going to treat you how you want to be treated half the time.
Definitely not.
They're going to make it seem like something is wrong with you. even when you're trying your hardest to be successful,
Yep.
you're trying your hardest just to live.
That
All you
means
want to do
nothing.
is breathe.
That means
All
nothing.
you want to do is breathe.
They're like, you're breathing wrong.
And you just have to love.
Oh, man.
You just have to love.
Yes. I love that advice.
So
I love that advice. At
and
the end of the day,
you wonder,
yes.
why am I smiling? You wonder, why do you smile? You not go to work and people are like, you're just always smiling.
Like, yes.
There's something about, I serve a true and living God, and he is faithful.
He is.
And he's love.
I've seen his
and
faithfulness.
I have to love.
I've
So
seen his faithfulness.
that's why I'm always so happy. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going through things, or I don't go through things. But I can't walk around acting like
mad at the world.
No.
All right. So if I could give just a little wrap of advice, mine would be just expect people to be who they are. Like, we ain't perfect. We all have our issues. We all have things that we're working on and dealing with, so you can't expect people to be perfect if we're not perfect. You can't expect people to not have something that rubs you the wrong way if, because sometimes I got things about me that I don't like. So I don't expect everyone to like everything about me. But even if you have someone who has that imagined competition, going on with you, like, you ain't even got to respond to it.
No,
you just go on living your life. Let them do what they do, because at the end of the day, they only gonna stress themselves out.
And the more you show love, they'll feel it. Like, you can't Martin Luther King Jr. says what he says, you can't.
If you're gonna quote MLK, you better look that bad boy up.
I can't remember, but something about you can't give hate with hate or something like that.
What, you can't conquer hate with hate? You can only conquer it with love, or
yes,
something like that. We'll look that up after the episode and post that in the comments, because we can't afford to get dragged.
No, I know he said something like that, because I read it.
I'm legit,
but I just can't quote
I
him
am legit
word
look.
for
I am
word.
looking that up.
Let me look it up right now.
It will be in the comments, because she got us out here looking bad for the people. Gonna quote MLK. I can't remember the quote. I love it. But this has been fun. Hopefully she finds it, because I'm about to close up. Hopefully she finds it. Did you find it?
Hold on.
All right. I'm can I close off, or you gonna find it? Let's see if she found it.
I'm gonna find it.
I don't think she's gonna find it. You think she's gonna find it? Pause the video and see if she's gonna find it, and then.
Well, okay. Hate cannot drive out hate, but the whole quote is, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that.
Boom.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
All right, you
Found
found
it.
I didn't think she was gonna find it. I ain't even gonna lie. I didn't think she was gonna find it. But she found it, so that was amazing.
I couldn't quote him exact, but it was something like that.
You had the idea. That's all that really mattered. But we love y'all, and we thank y'all for tuning in with us this week. Remember, death and life is in the power of your tongue. So
make sure you speak life.
If you haven't gotten the book,
don't forget When Three Roads Collide.
Just Google it. You'll find it. It's on Amazon.
You know what? I Googled it the other day. Oh my God.
There's so many different places.
It was everywhere.
So
even
many
Walmart.
Places. Shout out to Walmart. If it's at Walmart, that means it's somewhere in like on the other side of the world right now.
Even Walmart.
Shout out to Walmart. Y'all should sponsor this episode.
But
that's another story for another day. You can find the book anywhere.
I Googled the book, and the amount of places that popped up.
It just popped up everywhere.
But they're like online, places.
It's okay. You can find the book anywhere online. Go check out the website, 3roadscollide.com. You can see everything that we're doing, all the different avenues that the business is into. Pritchard Media Productions. Holla at your boy and your girl. We out here trying to do major things.
And hopefully we didn't say anything that offend anyone. If we did, forgive us.
Well, we love y'all regardless.
We love you guys.
And even if you have to love us from a distance and listen to the podcast and don't comment, but you listening and you subscribing, we still love y'all. We get it. So, don't take it personal. We're love y'all.
Not perfect.
I'm a hot mess covered up in God's grace. So we love
All
y'all.
right, we love y'all.
Have a great week.
Have a great week.
God bless
God
you.
bless you.